Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Yasser, just answering some more of your questions. One of the most basic questions I get asked is how hard is it to get a part-time job in Canada, or how much can you earn? Well, let's start with the minimum wage. At least where I am right now in British Columbia, the minimum wage is around 12.68, right? And you're allowed to work around 20 hours a week. So there's a threshold to how much you can work, and of course that is on a minimum wage. If you're earning higher, that's fine as well. You can probably get by a lot better. What a lot of people don't realize is when they're looking into working abroad before getting to Canada, is that things here are a lot more expensive than you think. Whenever you're budgeting, you want to overestimate rather than underestimate, because your day-to-day expenses can be very unpredictable. The other thing I've seen with a lot of new students when I talk to them over orientation is many of them don't realize that they can't support themselves entirely based on a part-time income. I've seen some students come and they're expecting to pay their entire tuition fee just based on part-time. Yes, you can work in the summer full-time and you can earn a lot of money and you can pay it forward to your tuition, but if you're thinking of the average student here who's making a minimum wage income, it's very difficult to pay the fees, especially the fees international students pay. As for how hard is it to get the job, it's a mixed bag, I would say. A lot of these people who are hiring, a lot of these organizations that hire, they do have online applications. So you'll hear a lot of people say, go in person and give them your resume. And I would support that. I would say, even if they have an online application, just go in person and meet the fellows, just so they know what you look like, what your name is, so that they can search for your name in the database. The mistake a lot of students I've seen make is, for example, they'll land in Canada and they're very excited about getting a job, which is great. They should be, because the competition is tough. But then they do a job search in a very shotgun type of approach. They'll go to 5 stores back to back and just go to the manager and say, hey, do you have a job? I'm looking for a job. When someone is trying to hire you, they're not looking for just about anyone who's willing to do any work. They want to know you have certain experiences or you're interested in that specific kind of work. And it happens a lot. When I was working at the cinema, you would have all of these people come in, maybe 5, 6 people in a gang, and all of them would just say, hey, do you have a job? We're looking for a job. Just take my resume. And if you come in like that, you're not going to have very good odds of landing that job. So I would say, if you really want to make an impression, of course, if it's an online thing, have a really good resume. And that's another good point. In the university, you see a lot of people printing out their resumes, and sometimes you have sample resumes left over. And I have to say, the resumes I've seen from newly landed students, they need a lot of work. They need a lot of work. If your resume looks like education, skills, good communication, team working, good communicator, good English, whatever, all these generic phrases that just about everyone has in their resume, you can't expect to get a call back from that. Or maybe you can if they don't have any other applicants, but it's not a really good resume. So I would recommend you take advantage of the career mentoring services that you have available at your university, or you look online for a good Canadian formatted resume before you apply. And this is very crucial, guys, because they won't even look at your application if it's half a page long with basic phrases that they read in 30 other resumes that same day. So you want to make sure you stick out. The other thing I would say is make sure you balance how much you work and how much you study. Of course, when you come here, you have a lot of expenses that come up that you're not expecting. But a lot of students, they get too carried away in making money as opposed to the actual reason they're there, which is to study. And I've seen, including myself, a lot of people get carried away with that. The grades start slipping away. You're not really doing any extracurricular work. Your day looks like going to work, going to class, coming home, going to work, going to class, coming home. And by the time you graduate, all you have is a degree, a mediocre GPA, and not a lot of skills in the periphery. So I would say, if you had to take the most of the time you're spending in university, I would prioritize your extracurricular activities over your work, assuming you can support yourself and you're not just eating the same canned food every single day, which I think all of us have at a certain time in our student life. And the other thing I want to mention with jobs is that it's not going to be something that you get to pick most of the time. You can't expect to go to a big firm and just ask for a job. A lot of the times it is referral based too. I know one of the companies here, a tech company, Best Buy, they used to do a lot of referral based recruitment. So you have to keep in mind that some of these applications, they might not go through. And another thing to keep in mind is that you might apply to 50 different places and you might only get responses from like 5 of them. I've had people where places where I've applied and they said, "Oh my God, you're the perfect person. This is the exact schedule we need it for. You can fill the time slot, blah, 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 blah. It's great." And then they'll never give you a call back. Just expect a lot of that to happen. Just don't get too demotivated with that. It's just part of the process. But yeah, I hope I've done enough to answer your question there. If you have any other questions, just subscribe below, leave me a comment on what you think. And if you have any specific questions about anything I'm saying here, and I know I'm being pretty general here, but if you want me to expand, I can do that as well. But hopefully you get some intel out of this, and when you come to Canada, things will be really, really smooth for you. So we'll see you guys in the next one.